Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Wayz Podcast, because there's more than one way to do anything. And of course, we are your hosts, Yanaa.
Big Lex.
Big motherfucking Lex.
I don't like how excited you are to say my name.
Big motherfucking Lex in the
why can't it
motherfucking
just be
building.
simple? Big Lex.
If it was simple, I wouldn't be me.
No comment.
I think nothing for me is simple. I don't think. Nothing in my life is simple. Simplicity is just not a word that I identify with.
No comment.
Okay. Okay.
Come ride, chill by my side. Come take a ride, a ride with me.
Today we're gonna talk a little bit about high school. We're gonna talk about high school. That's how you feel about it?
I enjoyed high school, so
Yeah. We're going to talk about if we feel like high school set us up for the real world. As you may know from previous episodes, we didn't go to the same high school. So it was a completely different thing. I did junior year, though, but it was a completely different thing. And we're gonna,
junior year?
yeah, that was junior year. I know,
Okay.
right? And we're going to talk a little bit about money. You know what I'm saying?
Money, honey.
Money. I wish I had the Cardi B money. I'm going to play that. See, the money. I don't really need it. I need the money. Watch. Okay. Anyways. So you enjoyed your high school experience.
Yeah, I liked high school.
But do you feel like you're doing anything now that you knew you wanted to do in high school, or that high school kind of set you up for?
No. Like education wise. So yeah. Like education wise, I think it gave me like the bare minimum. I don't know if that's a good thing though, that it gave me the bare minimums for like life.
Yeah.
I don't think like they're supposed to teach you everything, right? Some things you just have to live and learn.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the whole high school structure is stupid.
I mean, I think that they give you, right? You have PE, so you know in life you're supposed to exercise. That's just this is how I look at it, right? You're going to have to learn how to speak to other people. That's English. You're going to have to know something about your history or how you're going to operate. I think that's history. But most people don't look at it like that. Like life is supposed to teach me, math is supposed to teach me about how to handle money, but it's not. It's supposed to teach you about numbers. And once you take those numbers and you put them in your life,
right?
I know how to do $2 is plus another $2 is $4. Now I know I have $4.
Right. High school was whack.
I liked it.
It was so whack for me.
When you say whack, do you mean like school wise or like fun wise? Like
both.
Peer to peer.
Both. Because I feel like for me, I don't feel like I had anything in high school that translated over to what I do now. I feel like for a lot of
that.
I mean, just like if it set me up for success in the real world, I don't feel that way. I feel like
I don't think it set me up for success. I think it gave me the bare minimum.
Yeah. I feel like I already knew the bare minimum.
I didn't say I didn't know it. I'm just saying I knew how to count.
I feel like middle school, probably like after middle school is when I feel like I didn't need school anymore. I mean, I still went, obviously. Right. But I feel like middle school, elementary school, like you learn the basic math, you learn like basic English, you learn like how to communicate with your peers or whatever.
I think I learned that the most in high school.
Really? I took a lot of high school like math classes that were unnecessary and English stuff that was unnecessary.
I think it's just to give you the bare minimum. Like elementary school is like the foundation. Middle school is like to add on top of elementary school. And high school is to like use it in the real world. So every day you come back to school, and because in high school you can get a job, in middle school you can't.
Right. So do you feel like there's something specific that helped you in the real world that you learned in high school? And it can be social too.
Situations, like bad situations.
Like with your peers, with people.
How much someone could be watching you and you don't know.
People's watching you?
Yeah. Like
people was watching Big Lex in school.
Yeah. How someone can like hate on you and you have no fucking clue.
Oh yeah. I okay. I can identify with that.
She will never admit it, but it became very clear.
Who the fuck can hate on Big Lex? Stupid.
But like, and adults too. I realize like not all adults are like in for you?
Oh yeah, I learned that one too. That's actually a good one. But aside from that though, like in regards to it setting you up for the real, so you feel like situation wise, socially, it helped you in that area, like know how the real world was going to be.
Right.
But like if you had to go, knowing what you know now about life, being an adult, and maybe a little bit about what you might want to do or what you don't want to do.
Right.
Do you feel like school kind of helped shape that? Do you feel like you maximized your high school
I feel
experience?
like I maximized. I mean, of course, I wish I would have studied harder.
Right.
But I already knew like that's not my thing.
So you knew what you knew pretty much.
I'm not going to study more. I was able to retain a lot of information, and
Right.
sometimes like it wasn't necessarily like I didn't know the test. It was just I got tired at the end of the test and just decided not to. I just decided to bubble answers.
Do you like tests? Are you a good test
I don't
taker?
like time tests.
Yeah.
Because I have dyslexia, and so once you start getting down to the end, them words be flip flopping, B's be D's, and I'd be like, I had to ask people like, "Can you read this to me?"
Right.
They'd be like, "Why?" I didn't ask you to ask me why. I just
Right.
want you to read it to me. So by the time I get down to the end of the test, I don't care what. If I've passed, great. If I don't, my mom was like, when I failed the test, I was like. She was like, so what happened? I said, I got down to the end of the test and couldn't read it no more and just started
Right.
bubbling answers.
But you graduated. Yeah. On time.
On a roll.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think the
Fuck high
school wasn't that bad for me. I think that was probably the only thing. If I could correct anything,
Yeah.
I wish I would have did more, like, socially. I mean, I went to everything, but I mean, like, stuck my foot out there more.
Right.
Like, how much I talk now, I don't think people realize that I talked this much in high school.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. No. I can attest to that. No.
I talk the same amount.
Maybe it's just that people weren't as, I don't know, like you weren't in drama. You weren't one of those kids that was like,
It wasn't my business. It wasn't my
yeah,
business.
you know what I mean? And you know, most kids are like that. Like they want to know.
I still was in it. I just wasn't like, oh, okay, there's a fight on Tuesday. Oh, okay,
Right.
that's great. I don't really give a damn.
I was in everything. I was in the mix of everything. But I think the only thing that I feel like high school really set me up for too was like socially, like social disappointment. I feel like for me, because I went to that fucking school of engineering and sciences, I think only if you go to the right school. Like, I feel like there's some schools that focus on things more than others. You know, like I went to a whole science school and I had no
interest in science.
No interest in science. I had no plans to do any type of like to go into those type of fields or like engineering or nothing like that. I liked school. It was cool, but I became more social and a little bit disengaged in like the subjects when there was nothing that I wanted to do.
Right.
I think for me, because I've always been creative. And I think like at a certain point when there's no choir, there's nothing for me to join that has to do with singing, that has to do with art in a way. I think I kind of like.
So when you were at Kennedy,
out.
did you see that stuff there?
I was in choir when I was at Kennedy. But the thing was, by the time I went to Kennedy, I was already so far gone. It was like, I was already smoking weed. I was already like, whatever. Right. I remember I missed the first concert because of, I don't even know why. I think I left my shirt at home or something like that. And then I never like
shocking to me, didn't even know Kennedy had a choir. So
by that time I was already smoking hella weed and ditching, so it wasn't.
Why do you have to do weed like this?
Because it's just anyways. But I'm recovered, retired weed smoker. Okay, let's give me a clap for that. Yes. I'm retired.
I don't really think you can retire from it, just end.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like high school is just, I don't feel like they taught the things that I would want to know now.
That you would want to know now.
Yeah, because I feel like they have.
Think it gave you like the bare minimum to get you thinking about other subjects.
No,
like
life did.
Life did, but you don't think like, okay, you didn't have to do PE all 4 years. You had to do PE just 2 years.
I think so.
Right? So that didn't make you think that, oh, possibly in the future fitness might be like a thing.
No.
I just looked at it like that.
I didn't even run. I hated running the mile.
Ugh,
so everything that I disliked in high school, I disliked as an adult. I mean, not that I don't like doing exercise now. I know it's needed, but do I do it?
I know. I don't. There's not many people who was like, minus me. Like, I love PE.
I don't know.
In life, you need just enough health to survive. You don't have to go to the gym every day, but you should work out at some point in your day or some point in your life.
I learned how to communicate with people and like be professional, I guess, because like when it came to being with my teachers, I was a certain way. You know what I mean?
That
I was with like
my teachers knew me as one way.
Right.
And my peers knew me as another way.
Yeah, I feel that. But that just set me up for like going to work. You know what I mean? And having like work relationships and being able to like be cordial. But I don't know. I felt like I don't feel like school set me up for real. Because what was the thing? Like high school, you're supposed to do good in high school. You apply for college. You go to college, and then you get out of college, and then you get a job. You know,
was there anything
career
specific that you did in high school that you thought you would do in the future?
No, I never even thought. I think I wanted to go to college because everybody said that you should go to college, but I never had an idea of like, oh yeah, I want to go to this college. I have a dream college that I want to go to. I have like
that's crazy.
Yeah, I never had that. I never had like I always knew I wanted to sing.
That's crazy. Like I realized like my junior year after I got hurt, like, oh, this might not be a thing. Or I probably realized it a lot earlier than that when I stopped growing that's not going to be a thing.
Right.
Like going to Tennessee is probably year 5-2. It's probably not going to be a thing.
I'm sorry.
It's probably not going to be. Even though there was people who were short, but I'm like, I could say I didn't give 100 to my sport at all.
Yeah, but do you think that wasn't? It wasn't something you did purposely, not give 100?
Oh yeah, it was purposely.
Really?
Not like purposely, but purposely. Like,
yeah.
But most people, like, especially girls now, like, I see them like, I didn't go to the gym after practice and shoot around for what? What am I going to the gym for? I just practiced for 2 hours. What am I going to the gym for? And my brother would try to make me, but it just wasn't. Not that I didn't care. I just didn't want to do it.
Right. You still wanted to have a life outside of that?
I didn't do anything. That's what, like, when I wasn't playing basketball, I was still doing something. It wasn't like I was just sitting at home.
Right.
I had basketball practice, or I had another basketball practice, or I had karate, or I had soccer. It wasn't like I was ever at home to just chill. And when I was at home, it wasn't like I was just sitting here.
Right.
I was doing something.
Right.
Or I was in what the heck was I in? I was in BSU. I was in class clubs, or I was in just a whole bunch of like clubs and stuff. So it wasn't like I don't want to go shoot hoops. I just didn't do it because I was like, I don't want to push myself no further than what I have to do.
Right.
Maybe that was bad. Maybe that was good. I don't know.
So you participated in a lot of like school things.
Yeah.
Just things in general.
Just
like
things
outside,
in general.
extracurricular.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that helped you? Like, do you do it now as much? Well, you don't have time really now.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I've never been an extracurricular type of person. Yeah, no. I think music is like the only thing that I do. Like outside of like, I can go to like stuff like Elijah's stuff at school and stuff like that, but I'm not a PTA mom. I'm not a join.
God, I strongly dislike the PTA, but I am a part of the PTA.
Of course you are.
It's the other one, yeah.
There we go.
I don't like
there we go.
PTAs at certain schools are like, why are we here?
I don't know. I feel like school in general, I don't feel like it's fit for everybody.
It's not fit for everybody, but you have to, it's just how I look at it. Going to school made me more of a better person.
Really?
Well, yes.
Why do you say that?
My parents are older.
Yeah.
And because they are older, they have older ways of thinking.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily bad. It's just me and my brother are pretty far apart.
Yeah.
And so me and him thinking is not even the same. My entire elementary school, which is when someone is being shaped right into their person, my brother wasn't home, which means I was with my parents.
Yeah.
So going to school was like my social, seeing how, what music to listen to, because my dad didn't listen to the music that they listened to, or what clothes to wear, because my mom and dad didn't wear the clothes that they were, even though they were hip or trying to be hip. It wasn't the same. But then when they started talking to the parents and they started, we're going to take Lexi to the pumpkin patch. Oh, that's not something that they didn't know. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know if we should. Oh, should we? They were kind of like iffy, because I don't know if they just didn't think that kids did that or whatever.
Right.
So it made me like more social, or because they were older, I was able to talk to adults.
Mm-hmm.
And because I went to school, I was able to talk to kids. Every kid said I talked like an adult.
Right.
All the adults said you act like you're old.
Right.
So I think it made a like good balance. So now that I'm grown, everybody says I'm old.
Right. You're an old lady. I kind of feel that in a way, except like school is more of an escape for me.
Escape?
It was the only time I didn't have to watch my siblings.
Well, it might be for some people, but I think that you just got to take one subject.
Yeah.
Like I tell my cousin all the time, like, I really don't care if you're not good at math.
Right.
I really don't care if you're not good at English. I really don't care. I just think you should be good at one thing. If art is what you love to do, then you should not be getting no B in art.
No, but you should also, I think if you're an artist too, you shouldn't be going to regular school.
Right, but in some situations you don't have a choice.
I know.
So just take what you can get out of it. Okay, hey, I'm not going to pass English. Okay,
right.
Well, we can work on your English because you're going to have to talk to people because you want to sell your art one day, right? Okay,
right.
We're going to have to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to take what you can get out of it because school is not made for everyone. But I do
Definitely
believe everyone
not.
should go to
Definitely
high
not.
school because once you go to high school, I think, like I said, you get the bare minimum of life. Just like a little taste of it, not enough to knock you off your feet, just
right.
a little bit. And once you finish that, you'll at least have, like, I say, like, the necessities to kind of continue on in
right.
life.
I think everybody should get a diploma or a GED, but I don't think everybody should necessarily go to high school. I think because when I went to, after I flunked out of Kennedy, I didn't flunk out. That's not what happened.
That's not the right word.
That's
not the right word.
I got pregnant and I was doing bad. So I switched schools, but I went to like the independent study school. And I feel like that worked for me better because I didn't have the distraction
right.
of social. And that's all I really did up until, like, I want to say I did good in school up until maybe like my freshman year. Mm-hmm. And then freshman year was kind of when I was like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, right. I don't really care about any of this stuff.
Well, I mean, I think
I care about people.
I
care about drama.
I think maybe, I don't know.
You know what I do feel like high school taught me?
What?
How to be a productive person in employment. Because I feel like, yes, I feel like working a job is really close to like being high school. You have the breaks that they give you. You know what I'm saying? You have to follow instructions. Right. You have to work. You're not able to just do kind of whatever you want. It's not your own pace. You know, you kind of have to get trained. You know these things. I think it's close with the workforce, but I feel like, you guys know, I have my theories. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's just all a part of how they want us to be workers. They want us to be worker bees. They don't want us to be independent. They want us to contribute to society, yes. Right? Which I believe that, which is cool, I guess.
Even if you are a entrepreneur,
right?
Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an astronaut, whether you're an athlete, the skills that you learn in high school, you're going to use them.
Really?
Regardless. Yes.
For entrepreneur, I don't agree.
Yes. You have to be able to sit down. Right? You sit down in high school, do you not? You have to be able to sit there and do your work. That's a skill you learn in school, whether that's high school or elementary. That's something you learn in school. Sit down in front of, whether that's a computer or a desk, you have to learn how to sit down.
I don't know. I agree with everything else except entrepreneur. I don't think high school sets you up to be an entrepreneur.
I didn't say high school. I mean school settings in general.
School in general. I don't think so, because I think being an entrepreneur is and a lot of people who are entrepreneurs and who do start their own business, 9 times out of 10 they didn't go to high school or school in general. 9 times out of 10 they dropped out, because I feel like it teaches you to obey. And I don't feel like as an entrepreneur
you don't have to obey.
You don't do that.
As an entrepreneur, you learn that you don't want to obey.
I think,
and you learn that from school.
No, not necessarily. I mean, well, we're just talking about high school in general,
right?
So only reason why I say that is because I feel like a lot of people who don't go to high school, they have more of or just school in general. But high school, I feel like they're able to shape their life a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to high school and you're beating you for these years, not beating you, but you know what I mean? Right. Like it's in your head, like, this is the way you're supposed to go, this is what you're supposed to do, this is how you need to listen. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you're conditioned to be a certain way. I do feel like people can still be entrepreneurs afterward.
Right.
But I feel like it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to, I think it is, but only because it depends on what type of person you are maybe, but only because if you were somebody that was really, really engaged and you cared and you went to college, it's going to take you a lot of time to unlearn that. So I'm not saying that you can't still be an entrepreneur, but I think the level of like unlearning that you have to go through if you were like 100% engaged in like school and like this is how I have to do, this is I'm used to being told what to do, I'm used to contributing, you know what I mean, to the bigger idea. Entrepreneurs are people that are more like free spirits, you know, they don't really care, and they're probably not the people that engaged in school 100%. They were like,
I was 100% engaged in school, and I think I am probably way closer to an entrepreneur than a regular. And I have worked a regular job, and I didn't dislike being told what to do. I felt like that was kind of like a relaxing thing, but I like to be in control.
So you were, but you, like you said, you didn't study, so I don't feel like you were 100% engaged.
I was 100%.
I feel like
I don't
studying
recall
is a school thing. And that's something that like being told what to do.
That's
for sure.
Definitely a nerd thing.
That's like a I'm 100%.
So is it 100? Someone who, this is just my opinion, someone who like study hard, for every test is also that same person who's probably not very social. So you can't have it both ways. And most of those people who study very hard and aren't very social are not going to be entrepreneurs. No, they're not, because they can't talk to the regular population.
They're probably going to go and do like some type of computer science or some type of
a regular 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I feel like 100% engaged is like you're like from the time that you're in like middle school or whatever, elementary school, like you have this path that you want to go down. You're making sure you get A's, and obviously it's not a lot of people that are like that, but you're making sure like school is your thing. And those are the people that after high school are lost. You know what I'm saying? Like people that still go to high school games, they still kind of engaged in like trying to be in there, and you know who I'm talking about. You know the type of people I'm talking about. Like,
I mean,
no offense to you guys. You know,
it's not a bad thing, but sometimes I know for me, going into high school, it was hard for me to shake middle school because I really liked middle school and I really fit. Like I knew everyone in my class. Yeah, it was like my entire class I graduated with. There's not one person who I couldn't name their name.
So socially or just like
school wise too. School wise, like every teacher knew me. Every teacher called me Lexi. It wasn't like my real first name. No teacher called me that. I was the manager at the Wolves Den. Like everybody knew who I was, and it wasn't like a popularity thing. I was just very comfortable.
I don't think I've ever been comfortable at school.
I think high school just gives you the bare minimums.
Okay.
I think they do need to add like a real financial course.
Yes, I think it needs to be real. Or I think that they need to
credit, like something involving credit. Like I knew about credit, but I didn't know I could have had a credit card.
I didn't know much about credit. I feel like if I would have gotten taught how to save, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
but
what
I think that
required or certain things like that, then that would have been better. Especially like over taking an elective.
Over an elective. I think like they should make you, like my senior year only had, I know most seniors aren't going to like this, I only had 4 classes my senior year. But I think they should require you to take a class at some point. You don't have to take it both semesters, but you should have to take like a financial course about your credit.
You should, or at least even before you turn 16, because you can get a job at 16, right?
At some point before you graduate, you have to take a semester of like credit score, because like when I got my credit score, it just so happens that, like I said, my parents are older, so they had a credit card with all of our names on it. So my credit was already kind of like higher than most because they already had a credit card in my name. Right. But I'm like, God, when I was looking at like my cousin, he was like, "You got a credit card?" Right. He was like, "How'd you get that?" I'm like, "I don't know. They just handed it to me."
Right, because you're old enough now. They're like, give it to you. I learned about credit and stuff from my mom, who's not that great. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my money habits come from.
Then, like, I don't know if they don't teach us enough about like money in general. Because when we started doing financial aid, I'm like, hold the hell up. Right. Are you trying to tell me I can't get stuff because they make too much money? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, they don't teach you the important stuff of that. So, even like applying for college and stuff, that's something you get from the counselor. They don't sit down and go over that with you like a class of like, here are your options.
They should give
I think they should too.
Like seniors, either your first semester, especially seniors who don't have like all 6 courses. Right. Because I went home after lunch.
And I think they should give, well, maybe this is too much to require. of like the high school system. But I
No.
think that instead of the message being graduate and go to college, I think there should be, and maybe I think some classes might have it. I know they have like job development with like counselors and certain things like that.
Kennedy had job development, but it's only, I think they don't want to like press anything on anyone.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't need to press it. It's just more of like,
they
these
offered it.
are your options.
They offered it.
Oh, like they
but
don't require
they
it
don't
for people
require
to, but
you
they
to-
should. You
like
should.
they handed out they handed out flyers and stuff every summer to do like a job course, and like a lot of people took the flyers, but did actually people look at it and fill it out? No, I filled it out one summer, and it's actually a job, and you didn't get taxed for it,
right?
So
Because
when
they
I
probably
did it
don't
over
think
summer,
it's important.
I did it over summer. I by the end of the summer, I had like at least $2,000.
Right. Think of how many kids though are thinking like, this came from school. This is just extra school. But I think that should be more important. The money thing, for sure. Because I think me as an adult, if I would have had something like that in school, and I don't know if I would have paid attention. I don't know if I would have paid attention to it for real. But if I would have had something like that in school, or like maybe with math, if that could be partnered, you know, of like, hey, this is how you handle your money. This is this is this. Especially with the ever changing, like you said, like I learned how to write a check in like 3rd grade.
Right.
So like
now people don't even know.
now
how
people
to
don't
write
even
check.
write, but they don't even write checks normally. I mean, like some people do, but how many people do you not have checkbook? Realistically speaking, if they're not older,
Okay.
because I'm saying older people, yes, that's in
don't
their
count me in that.
that's in their ways. But I'm saying
most people like
people our age,
how many people you know your age that has a bank account?
not a lot, because bank accounts now are. I don't even have a fucking bank account.
I don't know. Like I didn't realize, like I have 3 bank accounts.
Right.
I didn't know like people like really didn't have bank accounts.
I think it's irrelevant now. You don't need a bank account to get paid.
Well,
you don't need a bank
needed
account
a bank account. I mean, I don't know if they still do it that way, but in order for me to receive financial aid, which I didn't get anyway,
Right.
I had to have a bank account in my name. It couldn't be in my parents' name.
Oh no, you don't need that anymore, because they'll give you a card.
See, that's crazy.
They'll give you a
maybe
card.
maybe that's the issue. Like we're trying to make it so convenient. Like I can't even. I had a bank account long before, but the bank account that I got was specifically because I was going away to school.
Right.
And when I called, I was like, okay, what can I, when I get there and I have financial aid, what is
so
this
you
going to
can
happen?
use it.
And they were like, well, you have to have a bank account. I'm like, well, okay, I have a bank account. They're like, no, that bank account doesn't exist here.
Right.
And so I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, you have to get a bank account that exists here in this state, or
But do you
something that's a
think it's
sister.
because you went out of state though? Because I'm like, in California, it's not like that. with
In
financial
California,
aid.
it's not like that. But I think it just was like that with this particular, how I was going to receive the financial aid.
Right.
Because
Right.
They could have wrote a check, but like she said, you're not going to be able to, like, I was like, can I go to
cash it.
Walmart and cash
Yeah.
it? And she was like, no, you have to
to go to a
cash
bank.
it to an actual bank.
That
and I'm
makes
like,
sense.
I had a golden one.
Right. Probably
Literally.
because you were out of state though.
But I'm saying, what if I wouldn't have ever gotten the account, I wouldn't have that account today. And a lot of like credit bureaus, they check to see how long you've had an account.
That's true.
I've had an account I've had a regular bank account since I was 13.
That's true.
And then I got another bank account when I turned 17.
But
or
see,
18.
I feel like that's also something that should be taught in school.
In school, that's what I'm saying. But because we've made it easy for it, right? You get a card. Oh, you don't have financial aid. Oh, you don't have a bank account. Well, we'll send you a card. Now that takes that whole thing out.
Yeah.
So you don't have to learn how to write a check because you don't got a bank account.
No, and now there's other options. Everything is pretty much digital. You know what I mean? Nowadays,
They were. I seen a post. They were like, niggas be using Cash App like this is a real bank.
I do. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, because you know what happens when federal banks close, or when things happen that you have to learn about. Like federal banks close and they can take all your shit.
I don't got no money
They
in
can
the
take
bank, so
all
it's
your
cool.
money. So keep trusting these banks. Y'all say y'all don't trust the government. Do y'all know the banks are owned by the government?
I ain't got no
The
money
more you
in the bank.
know, the more you know. I'm not saying that Cash App can't go under and take all of the fucking whatever on the
It
Cash App.
surely can. It
But-
didn't took my a whole dollar every freaking week. It takes $1 out of my account.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you have like something subscribed or something that you don't know? Well,
I thought it was Bitcoin, but it wasn't.
I'm not. I don't have a lot of money in my Cash App account, so I'm not worried about it. But there's other options, you know, like NetSpend. Like I have a NetSpend card, prepaid
I never
cards.
having a rush card.
I don't know. Is that even still a thing?
I had one.
Wow. I don't know. I'm really bad with money though. I'm not gonna say that I'm the greatest person. I'm just now at my big old age of 27 learning how to budget. But it wasn't taught
She said big O. Big O.
Because it wasn't taught to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't learn it in school, you learn from the people around you.
I don't know. Do you think teachers just think that your parents are going to teach you this?
I think there's an expectation because of the fact that, like, school is only for certain things and stuff like that your family is supposed to teach you. I definitely think that. But what if you have a family like mine? I had a single mother who was pretty much living paycheck to paycheck and sometimes living on a dream. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it wasn't even a paycheck. It was like, I'm going to just hope that I get some money. She got a lot of money from financial aid. She was in college the majority of my life, like growing up. So she was able to float on things, but my mom was never like a save money type of person. And I think sometimes when you live in a situation where you do live paycheck to paycheck and you do live in, I don't want to say poverty because that sounds really bad, but I mean, you're not
below the norm.
Yeah, below the norm. I think that you don't save money. I think that you think, I want to go get this burger because I'm stressed out this week, or I want to go do this, or I want to go do that. You don't think about saving money because you're trying to live. I mean, other than that, you're not living. You know what I'm saying? You're pretty much working really hard to pay for your house that you're never in. You know what I'm saying? So your kids can have somewhere to be.